Get ready, Chiefs Kingdom, to unleash your passion and excitement for all Chiefs content. With the up-and-coming sports media company giving you all of the Chiefs coverage. We are raising the decibels and embracing the community of Chiefs Kingdom. Elevate your fandom and join our team who loves your team. Red Kingdom Media. Welcome to this week 6 edition of the Red Kingdom Media Live Postgame Show. I'm Clinton, and here's with me is Mr. Dale. 19-8 in what was supposed to be a fireworks-worthy night was, I guess, pretty unremarkable, or just filled with a lot of mistakes. So, what are your thoughts?
Honestly, I'm loving what I'm seeing from the defense. Defense has honestly, if not won us almost every game this season. They kept that up tonight again. Of course, they gave up that late touchdown to Cortland Sutton, but we can always go towards that roughing the passer penalty that was pretty questionable, would have been a fourth down. So I feel like they got lucky off of that but they capitalized, and it's okay. But they still held their own offensively. Still not finding any rhythm. It's kind of upsetting. I don't know what's going on. It seems like it's easy to drive downfield and get it to get towards the goal line, but in those short yardage situations and trying to put the ball in the end zone, it was just a problem tonight, and it's something that I seen a problem consistently throughout the season as well. And I think they need to find ways to actually get better at that. We talked about it early on. We just need to run the ball, find a balanced offense, put us in a better position to score touchdowns, and then they'll be fine. So,
Yep. I'm in pretty much all your points as well. Welcome, Lonnie, to the show as well. So, boys, 16 straight wins against Denver Broncos. Our last loss coming in September of 2015. My relationship is longer than the fact that Denver hasn't beaten us. So I'm not saying we're good luck or anything, but it's just kind of worked out that way. And they have a quick turnaround because Denver's thinking about this game again, knowing that they're going to play us in a little over 2 weeks' time, like the 22nd or something like that. But so how do you think that Denver feels after a game like that, where I could argue they put some offensive together, but it was a lot more shooting of the foot, much like a lot of the Chiefs games have gone. So whoever wants to take the lead, go ahead.
You can go ahead and go, Lonnie.
You can go, Dale.
All right. So say that one more time, Clinton, so I can make sure.
So part of me thought the offense for Denver was fine, but then they just shoot themselves in the foot. So what were your impressions?
I guess you can say that, but I think we honestly schemed way better than what we thought as well, too. At times, we were able to get pressure. We were definitely getting our hands up as well, too, getting a lot of batted balls. We saw a couple from George Karlaftis early in the game, and also one from Chris Jones as well, too. And then we had a batted interception as well along with that. So I think we were doing our part. We saw our defensive backs as well, too, really play a polished game. They were definitely stuck to Cortland Sutton and also Jerry Jeudy. They weren't able to do much. So I think we were able to just come in and really dominate like we were supposed to. Their run offense at times, it definitely was very effective. They were almost averaging about 5 yards a carry. So it was like, why did they go away from that? But we talked about that earlier as well, too, before we even started the show. One thing that I saw and I noticed is, like, at times, they get that 5 to 6 yard carry. They might get a first down off of that first little drive right there. However, we're able to respond and be able to get like an early stop on second down, making them forced to throw. And that's putting our best defenders in position to make a play as well, too, putting it to third down, and we're able to get a stop. So if you go for it, we have the confidence to actually, get a stop and get off the field and put our offense back out there. So I feel they've been playing great. The Broncos definitely could have done a little bit more. They probably could have just stuck to that run game. But at the end of the day, you can't do that against the Kansas City Chiefs as well too. I understand the offense hasn't been great, but at the same time, they're still thinking that and knowing in the back of their mind, like, hey, we got to put points on the board. So at the end of the day, I think they held their own. A lot of people will say, well, this is just a Broncos team who's kind of having a depleted season right now. Looks like they're about to have a fire sale as well too. So it's easy to say they're not the greatest. However, this is an NFL team. This is a divisional game as well too. This is an offense that actually were putting up points before they saw us. They were actually a team who was on their first drive as well, scoring either a touchdown or any points, and we were able to stop that. So I think offensively they weren't horrific. They weren't just able to do enough in other games to actually get those wins. It was their defense that was the worst, and their defense showed up tonight opposed to what their offense has showed out on the field.
Yeah, so I'm gonna agree and share those same sentiments with Dale. That offense definitely was good as far as the run goes. I feel like you just seen the work of a secondary that's very, very well polished and very well seasoned. Like we said, we know that this is gonna probably be the strong suit of the team. I think definitely it is. They've reared their heads there and definitely showed that they were able to kind of put a stop to those past worries that we were having before. We accumulated all those guys in the secondary. But yeah, I don't know. I really like to see the secondary play really, really, really good. Like you said, we got to get better on the runs. Stopping that run on defense, but I feel like that defense played at the top 10 level tonight. Mahomes could have played better in the red zone to help save us and put some more points on the board and really help those guys. He has to start helping them because they're playing at a high level. And like I said, we don't expect our defense to play at this level, but they're kind of outplaying the standard that we've kind of set for them. So I don't know if we should set that bar a little bit higher going forward or maybe just kind of let that be.
Yeah, I feel you, Lonnie.
Of course, throwing for 300 something yards, but he has to put it in the end zone. You got to score 6. So you can't just get down there and get field goals because a good quarterback will turn those turnovers and all the rest of that stuff that you gave him in the touchdowns, and you'll be looking at a different game. So I feel like we just got to capitalize more on our situations that we have there. And moving forward, we just have to we can really count on that defense. I think they showed us today that they're here and they're a force to be reckoned with.
Yep, for sure. Yep, agreed. I think my thought that throughout that game as it progressed was, man, both of these offensive coaches don't actually want to win the game because if they just ran the ball, they'd be getting 6 yards of carry and at some point get into the red zone and then score. But it was like, nope, it's time for our pass play or time for our 6 different trick plays that we ran in this game alone. Some of which, you could argue might have worked if they worked, but that's the thing with trick plays. Either they work and they're awesome, or they don't work and they're trash and you throw them away. So it was a struggle to find guys open again. And we saw a couple more penalties. Juwan Taylor had to get more. The man is the most penalized person in the NFL, getting as many penalties in a third of a season as anybody else all last year got throughout the entire year. Boys, is Juwan Taylor this bad, or are we like?
So
did we not see this coming?
Yes, I can actually defend him on this point. I don't know what was your view out at the game. Did you have a clear view of it before I go deeper into it? Because we did see something differently on TV when they did break it up. So I want your perspective before I actually go into it because a lot of people were actually bringing it up too.
It constantly looked like Mahomes would try and roll out to his right, and then Juwan Taylor would be on the ground, and then whoever he was guarding would have his hands up in the air, and about half the time it felt like he got the call. So
so when we saw it on the drive-in, like honestly, really when we looked into it, and it was just only one penalty as well. But it looks like when the guy was driving into him and Mahomes was able to break out. Remember, we always talked about it as well too. You can't go around Jawad Taylor. You actually got to go through him. So it looks like when he was actually trying to get inside containment, and as a tackle, you're just going to play to where the edge rusher is going as well too, because we're trying to avoid those holding calls, right? So it looks like when Mahomes got outside of the pocket, pretty much all Jawan Taylor did was actually clean it up. So at first, I thought they were originally going to try to call like a block in the back, but he did have him on the side as well too. So they didn't show an instant replay about that as well, but initially with seeing it on the screen, it didn't even look like it was a holding. So like you said, it could have been one of those moments where they raise their hand. Of course, they're going to take advantage of that as well too, get the referee's attention, and of course they called it. But I mean, at the end of the day, it was only one penalty. Honestly, I didn't see anything bad from him throughout the entire game, but that one call on him. But everybody can always talk about it and always come for them as well too. But it's common for offensive linemen to have a penalty or such. Definitely when you're offensive tackle, because at times they're looking at you with those great pass rushers on the edge, attacking, and then sometimes you get caught in those situations too. So at the end of the day, Mahomes, I think he only had one sack that was. I think it was only one sack at the end of the game that forced a field goal for us to close it out. But other than that, on that point, it didn't look like a penalty, but they called it, so it is what it is.
I mean, I guess it's not the illegal formation and false start and that type of stuff. So if we continue to see more of those penalties come back after this, then I might be a little more upset. But every other call, you could argue that it was a hold, especially when Mahomes starts to roll out and tries to make something else happen. So it was only a matter of time before they decide which ones to call. I could go into these refs hardcore, but we'll save that for a little later. Lonnie, you got a point?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I feel like he's in the kind of like the same boat as Clyde Edwards-Helaire. His bad snaps are gonna outweigh his good snaps now at this point. So anytime he doesn't have success, or there is a holding call, or there is a bad alignment, then it's gonna rear his hair bigger than it would if he was being successful. So I feel like it's just making this another highlight. But Jawan is playing at a super duper high level. We only hear his name once, which is good. We don't hear a lot about the line. They're not giving up a ton of sacks. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So hats off to him.
Sir. So I think otherwise, for me, the offense just boiled down to you had Isaiah Pacheco and you used him, but you didn't use him enough. And there were many instances where it was third and short. And I don't know, number 10 is standing there. You can hand him the ball, or you can have this gadget play where Clyde's going to drop the ball on the ground before passing it to Tony, who's looking to throw it, or direct snap that doesn't get the first down. So I just want Pacheco to be featured. He is the best, and you clearly don't know who you want to throw it to. You've got these ideas. Andy's got these ideas, wide receivers and tight ends and whoever else he thinks are going to be his weapons, right? Well, what have they produced? Nada. So what does he do throughout the game? Travis Kelce is the mainstay. Travis Kelce had more yards than Russell Wilson did. Wilson and nearly their running game put together. So Travis Kelce was that valuable to us, and we've talked already. Oh man, we need to see what it will be like without Travis, because we've had moments already. We've had a full game of it, and we've had these scares of, oh no, and then he comes back in just all, juiced up, ready to go. But we can't expect that he can maintain this level of physical health. Something's gonna give, and we're gonna do this team a disservice to keep throwing sticks at the wall and figure out which wide receiver they want to stick versus giving the ball to Pacheco and throwing it to Travis, throwing it to Rashee Rice. If you're passing so many times, the defense is ready for it. If you're running it over and over and over and over and over again, you're going to get them at some point. And that's all we want to do is just catch the defense looking. So.
Yeah, and Pacheco, and he's been better in the passing game as well too. Definitely has been great on those screens. Once he get the ball in his hand, he's going forward. He's very aggressive. He's running into a guy. He's getting extra yardage as well too. And if it seems like he has better vision as well, and he's understanding the holes that he needs to hit, and he's knowing his capability of what he brings to the offense as well too. Only thing I was frustrated about with him, and it's just really the most pettiest thing, bro, you have no horizontal lateral speed. Go for it. You're not him. You're not 10. You're not the old 10, bro. You're not him. Just go for it, bro. Like, it's cool. Like, you're a downhill runner. And when I say that, that's just being funny at that point. That's all it is. It's just like, bro, just go for it. You see at times where he started going towards the sideline and then he tried to get upfield. Patrick Surtain was flying in, getting them every time. It's just like, take the yards that you can get because you're a bruiser anyway. So with you already having 3 or 4 yards of open space in front of you, go ahead and take that because you're not going down on first contact anyway. So that gain is going to become like a 6 to 7 yard gain. It's going to put us in better position already as well too. So like, really just cut up. It's not a knock on him at all. But other than that, like you said, Rashee Rice, that's another guy that you need to include in the offense. Like we alluded to that earlier. He had 4 receptions for 72 yards. He had a big burst in the middle of the field as well, too, on a big slant. Like he has the potential to really get loose, and they put us in position to score as well, too. It's just like we talked about before. Once you get in the goal line, once you get in the red zone, run the ball. Let's shorten it up because obviously it looks like we're not getting as much separations with the receivers. We need to find it. Let's open it up with the running game. Let's give it to Pacheco. Let's give a little quick pass to McKinnon or get him on a stretch play as well too. But let's put ourselves in position to like at least get as close to the end zone. That way we can do those quick outs. Mahomes get the ball out quickly. We score a touchdown. We move on to the next drive. Just do that. But I think they will eventually find their rhythm. I'm just happy that we have a defense right now that can hold their own because I do think eventually this offense will find their rhythm and pick up in the second part of the season. We just have to see. But
yeah, and I share those same sentiments as far as them picking it up and getting back on track just later in the season. I feel like we just still have some more time before we're really going to see what we really have on offense. This is going to take a while. We thought it would be faster than what it was, but unfortunately these guys are young and it's going to take a minute to get them to learn the offense and get them to be able to read coverages and make adjustments on the fly like Travis Kelce did. So it does on a regular basis. So you have to give it some time. We will eventually get there, as there's no doubt in my mind. I feel like you do have to feed Pacheco. I feel like, but Pacheco was banged up, I feel like, a little bit, and I think he was even got hurt a little bit with an ankle. He wasn't popping like he usually is popping on some of those runs. So you got to just kind of watch it. I feel like that's why they rotate guys in too. So you got to be good and choosy where you pick your spots at. If I'm Andy Reid, but he's really pretty good about doing that. Like you said, get Rashee Rice involved. You're gonna have to get some other guys involved. Just figure out ways to get him the ball. I feel like he tried to give KT some touches too, even running the ball, get him some looks, and it just didn't work. So I feel like sometimes stuff they needed to in the red zone this game, but they're definitely going to have to pick it up. And like you said, thank God that they can rely on the defense that is playing just absolutely second to none right now.
I guess the only thing I'll argue with you about needing time is who else besides Rashee Rice is new on this team that hadn't been through the end of last season with Mahomes, who had an off season, had all this extra time during the summer. So who else besides Rashee Rice was not on this team prior to the season begins? Because everybody else who has problems has still been on the team, and I'm just still not seeing the chemistry with MVS isn't there. We're all like 2 years later waiting for this chemistry with MVS. It's not happening. We're waiting for this Sky Moore breakout. Mahomes ain't looking at him. He might get open, but Mahomes ain't looking for him. So what good is extra time?
And like I told Dale, I think the MVS really hit the thing with him. He may be covered. He hit on a lot of deep balls last year, just burning some defenses like the Bengals, the Jaguars, getting them a couple times. So there are some defenses that he has burnt and gotten with that streak route that he runs to like to run so ever so much. But I feel like you have to. He mixed it up last year. Nobody was a number one last year. If you ask us who was the number one wide receiver last year, we wouldn't be able to tell you. We could say, well,
I can
no,
say
I
for
feel
a
like Juju
fact
was
it
a
was
good third.
Juju.
He was a good third down receiver, and I'll say that because Juju missed some
almost had
games.
1,000, Brody. Yeah, he played in no games. He would have had over 1,000 yards too, and we haven't had that since Tyreek Hill left.
Yep.
So, and who was our number one wide receiver?
We could say that, but I don't see Juju as a number one wide receiver because, and I would say, let me put it like this: I could tell you Juju wasn't the number one wide receiver because, and he's in New England now, and he's probably not even a third wide receiver on that roster.
But that doesn't matter because the scheme helped him here in Kansas City. That's the point. What happens right there?
But I'm saying, and we lost with that. We still lost with Juju. I feel like we were a little bit worse off with Juju in some situations than we are now. We were losing, and I don't know if it was the defense or what it was, but we were losing too with that same 1,000-yard receiver. So you got to sometimes pick and choose your spots. He went and got 11 and 11. I think they gave that to MBS. If they wanted, like, I wish you could do a trade. Kind of trade it off, but trade the contracts because I wish we could have kept them, but we couldn't have. But I'm just saying, I don't think you got to give them more time. They're young. Juju had years. He was seasoned. He was in had a whole bunch of different offensive coordinators before he came over here to the Chiefs. So he was very, very well versed. Like these guys been in one or two offenses. They're young. They're fresh out of college. Some of them, Sky Moore is 2 years in. Kadarius Toney's probably in his second or third offense. Who knows how he's played since he's been in college. So it's just like you got to give people time. And Justin Ross hasn't touched the field in a year. So like we want it all to happen overnight, but it's not going to happen overnight. I don't think. And it's not even going to happen. I feel like in a couple months. We just got to give it some time. Mahomes said it was easy. It was hard.
Is in less than 2 full weeks from today's date. It is officially Halloween, 3 p.m.
Yep.
If we have not seen any production after the Sunday game against the Chargers or going to Denver to try to put up, like, when is it red flags? Because I know the second that nobody else on this wide receiving core besides Travis Kelce has more than 3 catches or 50 yards, the fan base is going to go nuts saying we need a dominant wide receiver. So,
we stuck, y'all. We stuck. I'm going to be honest with y'all right now. We stuck. I don't know who we're going to go after at this point right now. Mike Evans, it looks like the Buccaneers at this point, they're going to rock it out with him and Baker because at the end of the day, it's in the NFC. They might be able to get a wild card spot, so they're going to go with that. I mean, we got other guys. It's just who's going to trade with us is the point. People right now know that's a need that the Kansas City Chiefs want. They know that we have a lot of talent at wide receiver, but all that talent is not coming together. We had all that time in the summer as well, too. So right now we need to just rock with what we have. They need to figure it out. Hopefully, Mahomes could pull some Brady-like things at the end of the season, just to be able to make it work with what he have and have his best tight end as well too. But that's why I'm loving what I'm seeing from the defense right now, just because I'm confident that they're able to win us games. And then when you have somebody at quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, and then you have another guy like Travis Kelce at tight end, where they can make something happen at any point, then it's like, okay, we can go with that. Now, we'll see how it goes. But at this point, it's kind of hard to tell. But Brett Veach, he's a master at finding some things and figuring some stuff out. We'll see what he's able to do. Like you said, we got into October 31st at 3 o'clock p.m. So, and then you know they got a couple like 30 an hour minutes as well, too, for all those other stuff that was development. They had that little path as well, too. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
My thought is like, I get it. It takes like till the middle of the season to really know what kind of team you got. Well, I don't need the rest of the middle of the season. I know what we have. The best is a running back position, and you're not showcasing. You are a running team, and Travis Kelce gets open on third down. That is our identity. And they can attempt the big deep passes, but none of them worked this game. Against the worst scoring defense, you got 1 touchdown.
Kansas City Chiefs for you.
And you shot yourself in the foot several times.
See, but I say
So
this. I say that to say that this is a division opponent too, and that's the same opponent that scored one touchdown against
the same one
one of the.
trying to
Uh,
trade people before the game started,
well,
who are
well, I'm
actively
just
trying
saying.
to make their team worse before kickoff.
Well, I'm just saying it's still a division opponent. You can't slight any division opponent. I don't think. Period.
I was
Anytime
gonna
we're
be
gonna
like
get
that.
the
Period,
Raiders'
though.
best shot, we'll get the Chargers' best shot. We'll get every one of their best shot, and they're gonna know us the best. So it's really not you. Like he said, you can throw out the records, throw everything out when you get to these games. They're always gonna be close. They're gonna be tight because we know each other the best, absolute best. Better than anybody else that we're playing. We're not playing the NFC North team. We're not playing the AFC South team. This is a team that's in our division that has to play us twice a year. So they're studying a lot of film and seeing a lot of plays. Andy Reid, they're not even have some of our guys. Michael Burton was just on our roster, so like playing fullback for us. So like they're very, very well versed and very tapped in. This is a pro league. And we do expect them to make plays just like we expect our defense to make plays for us. But like I do want to just stand with Dale really quick as far as being patient as Chiefs fans. We've never seen or had a good defense before. These games are going to be different. We're not going to win games by 60 like we did running away anymore. It's going to be different. They're going to be close. They're going to be tight. It's going to be a defensive ball game. Hopefully, we can get our offense to step up. We have an MVP quarterback. That's the only thing that you can pray on. Pray on that. You have an MVP quarterback, 2-time Super Bowl champion, and a tight end and a quarterback. So you have some things on the offense to rely on, and you're going to assume that eventually they will come about. But as of right now, that defense is top tier. It's top 10. You're going to lean on that defense a lot. Like we're going to win games with a defensive team now moving forward until we can get our offense to where it needs to be. And you're just going to have to trust the process. It's not like hopefully it's not like a Joel Embiid process or anything like that. But I feel like the Chiefs fans have just been so used to just winning and being so dominant in every single area on offense. When you see that we have a weakness somewhere that we feel like it needs to be fixed, but that's not always the answer. And Veach is like he said, I've seen this in the comment, cheap Veach, but Veach is not in the company of spending a lot of money. So we all know that. So we got to, with that being said, we got to understand the situation, know that we're going to develop the talent that we have on the roster, being that he has so many high price picks in that wide receiver room. I just don't see them going away from that. And we're just going to be leaning on defense. That's how we play. Leaning on defense and running the ball, play action. And that's just who we are, unfortunately. And that's just how it's going to have to be. People are not used to seeing that.
So
like Clinton shares the same sentiments as a lot of Chiefs fans.
We're praising the defense. So
That's
who
right.
do y'all feel is your defensive MVP so far?
That's right.
And
We got to be
episode.
all happy and talk about the positives this game because we're tired of fighting on the same
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah. So who everybody defensive MVP?
I heard somebody say Trent McDuffie, so you go in on that.
Oh, it's always gonna be Trent McDuffie with me though. I mean, he forced another fumble again late at the end of the game. I just want him to get an interception now. Like I know you can hit, bro. You're flying in, you're hitting, you're attacking the ball. I'm loving it. Just the wrong people. I said 2 interceptions. We got 2 interceptions, and then it came from the people that we thought hadn't got it. Justin Reed got his first pick, I think, as a Chief. So that's tough. That's tough. Finally, tip ball. And then Nick Bolton, he read that very well. I know a lot of people was complaining about him this game, feeling like he wasn't at up to par. I did see at moments that he did miss a couple tackles, but other than that, he been solid. He was getting back under his feet. But yeah, Trent McDuffie for sure. My MVP. He been balling out. He been doing his part as well too. Someone on the secondary that I've been really just hyping on as well, and he's living up to that hype as well too. So big shout out to Trent. Keep going. We're gonna get you your pick soon, big boy. Don't. It's an island. It's an island for sure.
No doubt, Lonnie.
Yeah, and I'm since he took mine, I'm gonna go a Sneed, the guy that's named that we did not hear today at all whatsoever, which is always a good thing. We don't hear your name, we not see your name called, we don't see the back of your jersey, which is always a great thing when you play corner. I want to see the Sneed stat line. I feel like that's a guy that's standing out right now, separating himself from the pack. We got a lot of corners in that room that are just great, and I feel like it's showing. As far as the secondary they're hitting right now.
Isn't it wonderful that they're willing to tackle? Amazing to have a
like
secondary willing and like capable of making tackles too. It's such a breath of fresh air.
Right.
I think mine. See, got me debating here because we're gonna talk about somebody else. He gets his own. He gets his own billing, so I can't go with him. So I guess I got to go with returning Nick Bolton. He looked great. I mean, they were probably saving him for a game like this, and he came ready to play. The linebackers played really well. We were able to get pressure at times, but honestly, when I wrote this down, I wanted to say Russell Wilson was the defensive MVP, but I know that doesn't count. But he was, because they were in position to score points several times, and it was like, no thanks, I'm good. I don't want them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, yeah, I don't blame you for that though. I mean, Nick Bolton, he always been a dog, and this is someone who came out of college as well too, who really had his biggest weakness was being able to cover, especially covering his zone as well too. And what I saw, like even when Russell Wilson tried to go over him, just his ability to get back and then understand like, oh, it's right here at that moment, and he was able to jump up. It's like he's a magnet to the ball. Wherever the ball is at, that's where he's at. If he have an opportunity to make a play, he's going to make a play. So getting him back on the defense, especially right now when we're about to go on somewhat of pretty decent run, especially within the divisional games as well too. We got the Chargers on the 22nd, Broncos on the 29th, and then we got the Dolphins on the 5th in Germany. So getting him back in the lineup is definitely going to be big for the defense, and I'm glad we had him back. But I think we all had some solid guys who has been defensive MVP. I don't think we wanted to say the most obvious one, the guy with 8 straight sacks since coming back.
Tell it to him.
So, I mean, CJ, I love you, boy. Come on, bro. Let's get 20 sacks so Veach can say. Veach can't say nothing. Give him that 30 mil a year.
Give him a 30.
We need it. Give him a 30, bro. Give him a 30, bro. Like this has been consistent each and every game that he has played. It's like coming into every game this season that he has started after missing the first game of the season. It's been a for sure sack. He came back with 1.5 sacks. Right now at this point in the season, we're 5-1, so this is week 6. He has 5.5 sacks. So technically, a second game, sack at that half in there as well too. He has been phenomenal. Now, I don't know what it's going to take for him to become defensive player of the year, but I think if we can get into that 20 sack margin, along with probably a couple forced fumbles as well too, maybe get in there. Of course, he's known for a lot of batted balls. He's going to have that Aaron Donald impact. And with what the defense is doing right now and where we can be considered top 5, I think he's going to be able to jump in those rankings as well too. I think he's going to eventually have one of those games where he's an anomaly. He's not going to be able to be stopped. And I'm hoping for a 3-sack game soon. I'm hoping, because if he does that, it's gonna open the floodgates for him. And I even think if he even gets to 18, he has an argument as well too, especially missing one game of the season. So he definitely has been phenomenal. I'm glad he has been back on this defensive line. We get our other boy back next week as well too. He already posted on Twitter, Charles Omenihu. So this Chiefs front four, they coming.
Yeah,
CJ's coming.
For sure. I definitely, like you said, I feel like he speaks for himself. The 5.5 sacks in these 6 games. He's doing what he needs to be done in order to hit them incentives in that contract to make everything worth it. That sit out that he did. So he's showing up and stepping up to the plate, which I love to see for CJ. I feel like one of those sacks was a garbage time sack. That one and the one in New York. So he's doing it. He's getting it done. It's just not, like we said, it's not always in the sexiest way. It's not the Micah Parsons strip sack and return it for a touchdown. But he's still getting the job done. I just like to see him be a little bit more disruptive as far as Him just getting after it with the sacks, and he got after it today really good with the run. So just kind of just really rearing his head a little bit more before I really want to just like, okay, yeah, this is CJ's in that defensive player of the year talk for sure. Because you got guys like Michael Parsons. He hasn't been on his game as of lately.
Hold on, bro.
But what?
Are you discrediting his sacks, bro?
I'm not discrediting his sack, but one of them,
I don't want to hear about Michael Parsons and them getting blown out by the 49ers.
Bro, you said
by Brock Purdy?
One of those sacks. Dale, that sack was horrible. That Zach Wilson sack was trash at halftime.
Listen,
that didn't even. You might as well not even got the sack. You got the sack going into the half. Like
you talking about that sack that set us up to get a 60-yard field goal?
No, I'm talking about the sack the only sack that he got in the Jets game.
Oh, we talking about last game. We're not even talking about what we talking about, right? We're talking about 2 games away.
Yeah, you said discredit his sacks. I'm just saying one of them.
But we talking about 2 games ago.
Sack. It was a BS. It was a stat pattern sack. So
okay.
It was and it's fine.
What you want to say?
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Do you know who has?
I want to see him be more impactful.
Okay.
Right.
Do you know who has the NFL record for most consecutive games with a sack?
It got to be Chris Jones.
It was Chris Jones in 2018 with 11 games in a row with a sack, y'all. 11 games in a row. Let's see it.
He can. He can, but look, let's see if he breaks it with a sack going into the half and we lose. Let's see how much is remembered, okay? That's what I'm telling y'all.
Hey, yesterday price ain't today's price, bro. Man, you might as well give me 34 because you playing with me. For real. Yeah. We better stop doing that.
That salary cap, it's going to go way up. 34 just looks like 27 anyway. It's fine. We're all good. Oh.
I just wanted to get hype, man. You know I got it.
Yeah, y'all are
like CJ. He gotta make a bigger impact to me, man.
I just feel like
I think he can only do so much impact when he knowingly gets double teamed pretty much every single play, or he tries to find his one-on-one matchup. But if he actively chooses to take the edge, we've shown that we like to get most of our pressure from the interior. So if he's the guy who's getting the double teams and he decides to take the edge, well, no kidding when you have both tackles going one-on-one with whoever against them. They don't have another guard or a center or whoever helping. So Chris is eating those double teams, and he doesn't have that like game breaking because that's not who he is. He uses like his power, his size.
And that's why I said that's why I feel like he's not gonna get the look for that. I want him to win that award, but it's not sexy enough to win that type of award. Like Chris, when people that win that type of award are winning sexy. When you talk about Aaron Donald getting strip sacks, or just like blowing plays just completely out of the frame by blowing just guards out of the water, pushing guys back into people's life. So like he does that type of stuff, but it's just not. It's not. This is those are the type of stuff they want to see when you do, like, you want to be defensive player of the year. Now, I do believe he is the best defensive player on our team. That's the best defensive player that we have on this team as of right now. But as far as the best defensive player in the league, as far as you see being explosive and just being non-containable, somebody that we're on our line mismatching with everybody, I feel like Michael Parsons, just all those different guys set the standard. Joey Bosa, even TJ Watt, the game that he just had against the Ravens. Like that is the type of stuff that sets you apart. And when you want to talk about defensive player of the year, and that's no discredit to Chris Jones and what he's doing, but those type of plays are what separates you. And you know
I'll just say prior to Aaron Donald, a defensive tackle had not won the defensive player of the year since pre-2000s, but Aaron Donald has done it 3 different times himself. So. Yeah, is he Aaron Donald? No, not in the same way. But can he put up stats like on par with an Aaron Donald? I have
absolutely.
I don't discount that at all. So we're all rooting for it. We can act like it won't happen, but that's how we're going to manifest this. Is say how impossible it sounds. But The man keeps adding on to his resume. We said, oh man, he's got to do this much to gain back his money. He's got to hit this number. And he's like, okay, check 1, check 2, check 2. Yep.
He's 4.5 away too, I think, from hitting like that 10 sack. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's close.
He's playing on another level.
Yep.
Gotta love those contract years. Probably the best thing that could have happened was bringing him back in and saying, we'll give you some more money if you just ball out. And he's like, bet. And then you can pay me next off season. And Chiefs were like, bet. And they see what's happening. And they're like, all right, let's open that checkbook. What number are we willing to give him again?
Yeah, it's just like
Go ahead.
What you want? Because my last point of that, honestly, was like, I know we was talking about impact on the game, and he does have impact at moments in the game as well too. And it'd be those sacks like in the third quarter, fourth quarter, where it seems like the offense has been stagnant. We kind of need a big play from our defense, especially when they're on their own side of the field as well too. He gets that sack on 3rd and 10 or something like that makes it like a 4th and 15, 15 plus. So it puts us in position to where we can have better field position, and then Patton them could go downfield and score a touchdown. And I think kind of being on a team where you have the best offensive player in the league right now, the one who's going to be considered the future GOAT after his career is over with, when you have that along with Travis Kelce as well too, who is we basically were known for having an offensive juggernaut, that can also play an impact into that as well too, because we're worried about how many points his offense is putting up, but we're not seeing how many sacks and what Chris Jones is doing on a consistent basis. And I think that can take away from what he's doing as well too, because we're talking about guys like Micah Parsons, Nick Bosa, TJ Watt. What are those guys doing but the 49ers, honestly, in the playoffs that's really, making really big noise? They're not doing anything. These are regular season guys. But the thing is, Chris Jones is doing it in the regular season and in the postseason as well, too. But unfortunately, you can't get recognition for the postseason because that award is for the regular season. So I think that takes away from him a lot as well, too. And then playing on the team to where you're not worried about your own individual statistics. You're worried about getting to the championship. You're worried about getting to the Super Bowl and bringing another Lombardi back to Kansas City. So yeah, his level is very different. I love Aaron Donald as well too. I think he's one of the best defensive tackles in the league. But to play to the point that y'all was talking about, he also the one who had that big sack at the end of the game in the Super Bowl as well too, where he forced that on Joey Burrow, and guess what happened? That was an impactful game. He won the game for them. So I feel y'all, but I think Chris is coming into that. Yeah, he's at age 30. But he's in the middle of his prime.
And I feel like we would definitely be lying to say that Chris's golden years are not in front of him, seeing that we've seen this Chris Jones with minus any training camp or anything. So we would be kind of crazy to say that he doesn't have anything left in the tank. He definitely has a lot left in the tank, and I feel like it's just now opening up his arsenal as far as a pass rusher, moving inside and outside to something that is going to be a force to be reckoned with. So he is, like I said, I don't want to discredit him in any way. This man is very dominant, and he gives us, like I said, Big Mac for sacks. I feel like they stopped doing it. And
you ain't getting it.
Being scamless because Chris Jones was getting too many sacks. So it's like I feel like he broke the Big Mac for sacks. So it's I love him to death, but it's like the defensive player of the year. I feel like they look at that in just a different perspective as far as and like you said, it is some guys that chase stats, and those are usually the guys that are punting the sacks and all of that. So Chris does sacrifice being on the championship team. You can't do everything. You can't always go hunt the sack and try and get the quarterback. Right. Sometimes you got to pay the rush lane or pay the pass lane and get a tip ball. But I wanted to say this too. I wanted to speak to the Justin Reed point. I know Clint has something with Justin Reed. He always said Justin Reed is a Stanford guy. I really can't seem to put it together. But Justin Reed found his way to the football today, which I like to see. Tips and overthrows. I think we're going to get a lot of those later in the season. That defensive line gets their hands on a lot of balls and gets them in the air. That's always a good thing. We've seen it with Mahomes a little bit last year and the year before going against the Chargers, just people tipping balls to themselves, just all type of crazy stuff. Tips and overthrows. I feel like that's going to get the secondary popping. And that's kind of just what we need to really get us going, man.
Yep. I'm on with you. You can't call me out as a Justin Reed hater. I just speak
I'm not
with the film,
saying a Justin Reed hater, but I'm just saying Clinton has a point. He said he's from Stanford. This guy can't seem to put it together. I'm like, yeah, he usually, but these last couple games, McDuffie done had a turnover in almost every game. Justin has had a turnover the last 2 games.
We'll see. I mean, there's talk like, hey,
one more to pick.
They'll only have this much dead money, and they'll have 10 million more to spend, and blah blah blah.
Play out his contract. Just let him play it out.
Hey, if a dominant wide receiver's on the free agency market and you got to pay him 25, you gonna do it, or you want this safety play? I rest my case.
I'm sure it's other areas. MVS gotta go.
Yeah.
What were you about to say, Lonnie? Because I know everybody's going to start.
I said if my defense is playing at a top 5 level, though, I want him. Then we got an argument there, right? Like if my defense can finish this year playing the top 5 level, and we saying, oh, you won these games off of defense,
and we can say this because we have Patrick Mahomes.
Out.
That's the only reason why you get to have any sort of feeling like this. Because 2017 or 2016, you'd be like, dang, I'm spending all this money on my defense. My defense is this shit. And, you still didn't win the playoffs because they have a good quarterback and we don't. So spend all you want on defense, but Mahomes needs to be protected and Mahomes needs to have a weapon. We saw that. They lost the Super Bowl scoring nothing. And we're seeing that same output now.
He's MVS. I'm saying if they said MVS or Justin Reed, buy MVS. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not working.
I'm just saying it might be both.
I think that
it might be that.
Hey, let's get more money.
DJ comes back and it's look for somebody else on offense and pay Nick Bolton and pay Creed Humphrey.
That's cool. Come back, Mike Edwards for cheap. Brian Cook, Shamari Connor, they got the back end. If we got to do both, yeah, we do the cheap. Yeah, let's go get a wide receiver though. Yeah, for sure. Because I can rock with them. I love our young secondary, so I feel that though. If we go deep into it, yeah, I agree, for real.
That's why I said I wish we could get Juju back for the 11 and for 11, but I know Bill Belichick is not saying that over here at all.
And last time I'll mention this, and it's only relevant because of the Broncos. Do y'all want Frank Clark back on this team? Yay or nay?
If he get released, I don't care. I don't know. I don't care.
He's been out.
It like 800,000 to have him on the team after whatever. It cost 800,000 of real cap money to bring him on, and obviously a roster spot where they have to kick somebody out.
I mean, we was talking about a veteran if we wanted it. I mean, we ain't looking for him to come be a starter like that no more. We know what you bring. I mean, honestly, it's just depth at this point. And if you come break the record with us in the postseason. Come on, I'm cool with it.
That same talk,
for real,
back to the Chiefs because you're not doing anything.
Him too. Him too. Hey, if this open back off the offense, come back, bro. We need a Super Bowl this year. And then we can talk next year. We figure it out again. Let's reset and see what we can do in the free agency this time. But if they can come back and we got those players who was a part of both of those Super Bowls, cool. We need it.
All I'm gonna say is they're gonna do that. They're gonna bring back Frank Clark and they're gonna cut Justin Ross to make room for him on the active roster. And this fan base is going to flip their, you know what?
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
They cut 7 wide receivers, and they don't use all 7. And we want to have 5 or 6 defensive linemen, and we actively use all of them. So
we couldn't Dickerson. We wouldn't cut Justin Ross. And because they use Justin Ross, Justin Ross got in today. He just didn't get a catch. They use all of their wide receivers, y'all. Y'all just we don't see all of them touch. They definitely
he is a special teamer, man.
they
as
get.
much as
He
we
is a
want
special,
to,
yeah.
he is special teams, and we don't want him to. We're like, he deserves to be on the field all the time, but he's the wide receiver that gets chosen for special teams. So then we'll wonder why he's not in on offensive snaps. That's the answer. So put somebody else there. Give the Justins a chance to ball out. If your last name begins with an R, you have a chance to ball out. Everybody else, sit back in line and wait your turn.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, everybody. Lonnie, what you got?
Good dub. We got out of there with a dub today again. Offense didn't show up in the red zone, but our defense showed up and is playing at a super duper high level. Let's get ready to beat the Chargers. I don't know if we're here or there, but we got to get this one done, y'all. We got to win in division games.
Mm-hmm.
We here. We got to win in division games. These are games that we can't lose. We get these done, lock the division up with automatic playoff spot. So we already know what it is when it comes to these games. They're going to lock Derwin James on them. I feel like they'll play a lot more men than what they did, and they're going to blitz a lot more. So he's going to have some chances to take some shots. Let's see if some people can really get open, because they're definitely going to man down on Travis Kelce and try and beat him up with that hurt ankle.
Yep. Dale?
Yep. Great. Overall, just happy for the win. Great performance by the defense. Hopefully the offense can get it together. Looks like we might be missing Justin Watson for a couple games as well too. So hopefully those guys who are looking for more time in that wide receiver room moves up, and hopefully they can make something happen as well too. We're going to be facing off against the Chargers next week, 325. Like Lonnie said, might be a lot of man coverage. They're going to put Derwin James on Travis Kelce a lot. We know how that matchup goes. Of course, he's going to get his chances to make some plays too. But outside of that, who's also going to do that as well? I think Rashee Rice can't be that guy. I think he's going to get involved in the offense a lot more, and then we'll start spreading it out like we probably done before as well too. Hopefully, it's a better game overall. But my focus on is getting dubs. Right now, we're 5-0. We're 5-1. Good win, Chiefs. Let's go ahead and rest up. And enjoy this 10-day break.
Yes, sir. Pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. I'm happy they got the dub. I hate the ugly wins, but you would have thought by this far in the season, I would have been ready for it. It's like at some point I'm ready to just close my eyes and open them back up, and this offense is throwing 5,000 yards again. But they're struggling. They're still trying to find their offensive identity. It should be handing the ball off to Pacheco, but Andy Reid refuses to do that to the extent that all of us would prefer it to be. So I'm hoping the offense uses the next 10 days of rest, essentially a mini bye week, to go home and watch NFL that you're not partaking in, and just reassess what you have and make sure you're putting who you have in optimal places for them to be, and let them either showcase what they have or let them flop and like move on from there. But with this like back and forth, who knows if we have are we so confident, or give them more time until we have some confidence permeating through the receiving core. This issue is going to keep happening game after game. So I'm hoping they use this time to look at the film, reassess, be honest, and realize where they can make change and where Andy Reid can be humbled that way. And defense, y'all balled out. You let Russell make his own mistakes. You know Justin Herbert is not going to make those kind of mistakes, but you still have the chance to play really well against their offensive line. And with Mike Williams not playing, Austin Eckler's always up and down. So Chargers are never really at full strength, it seems, a la Chargers every year.
Mm-hmm.
So the game I thought was going to be beat them up with the Broncos. Maybe it lit a fire under you to go 10 days from now and be well prepared. Know your plays, there's no jitteriness. There's no lights are bright right now. They're just full on business. That's my hope for week 7. So I think with that, we're going to end this session. Thank you all for joining. I hope you all had a good time and hope you enjoyed our long conversation. Hope you decide to follow and subscribe to us wherever you like to listen to your all Chiefs coverage. Make sure to like, comment, and share this so you can spread the word and let people know what we up to. It was a tough win. It was an ugly win, but we now get to go to work on Friday and enjoy your weekend knowing that your team is already one win ahead of everybody else in the league. So thank you all. Have a good night or new morning or whenever the heck you indulge us. Have a great time and go Chiefs.
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion, so please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate, your trusted source for all things Chiefs. Red Kingdom Media.